Hey everyone, John Hartley. A couple of years ago, I made a video called Civil War Ghost Story, and it had a pretty good response to it. It's getting 7,400 views. I was surprised. But it was basically a tour of my house and a ghost story my grandfather used to tell me. So I was watching that earlier and sharing it with a friend of mine, and start of the weekend, so I got a little bourbon and Coke going on here. Excuse me. Oh yeah. So I thought I would share a couple of more things about my grandfather's time in World War II. My grandfather was not an Army or a military officer. He was a Red Cross officer, and he was sent first to the Philippines, and he went from the Philippines. Maxwell's here, y'all. Maxwell, say hey, buddy. Maxwell, sit. Not a boy. And a couple of things out of his World War II chest. He was sent to the Philippines, and as the battles went through the islands of the South Pacific, he had a hammer and I guess a nail. The hammer's still in his World War II chest. And those are all little dots made with the hammer and nail of all the islands he went to in the South Pacific, where he'd follow the battles and set up canteens and comfort stations for the soldiers. That's an old Japanese wooden flashlight he brought back from the war. Pretty cool. He also sent my dad, this box by the door is an old ammo box that he shipped some things back to my grandmother. But he sent my dad a Japanese Arisaka Type 99 Japanese bolt-action war rifle that I recently refinished. It was in pretty bad shape. It was rusted and stuff. So, but anyway, growing up, this box here on the kitchen counter was always a curiosity to my brothers and I. And I'm very hesitant to share it with people who aren't very close friends of mine, because there's something in here that would possibly upset people. But since nobody that I know personally knows about my YouTube channel, the only people that I know that know about my YouTube channel are my brother, my uncle, and my best friend, and another friend of mine. So I think I can share this. If you are offended by stuff about Nazis, you may not want to watch this any further. Just cut it off. But this is an old box of some sort with a cool little brass latch on it. It's got Japanese inscription on here, number 3 up there. But it has somewhat to do with the with our community here on coin collecting and such. It has a military script from the occupations after the war of Japan, which is where my grandfather's service ended. He went from the Philippines all the way up through the islands, and then he ended his time in the war in Japan, right near Tokyo. It's the matter of fact, the base he was on was still a United States Air Force base outside of Tokyo. I've got a picture of him sitting in front of or standing in front of the Red Cross office on that base. But these are interesting to me. I don't know a lot about them yet. I'm not a currency man. You know me, I'm a coin guy. But these are occupation notes, and I guess they're by the U.S. government. I don't know. But they have Spanish or Mexican currency written on them. Pesos. Interesting. Also, these were extremely cool when we were kids. These are Japanese officer shoulder boards, or epaulets. I guess I had the wrong sets. These two go together, and these two go together. But the most interesting thing in this box is what I was talking about. And though my grandfather never went to Germany, to my knowledge, he must have done some trading with people, this is an authentic Nazi swastika armband. It's a thick red felt, very fine sewing. It's very well made. My brothers and I used to, before we knew what it was about, wrap it. We knew it went on your arm, and you know our arms were about that big around back then. And we said, "There's no way, those guys must have been really strong for this to go around their arm." Well, nowadays, if you wrap this around a suit coat of your own, it would be the right size. So that's something that's been a curiosity of mine for all these years. You know, when I first saw it, I didn't know anything about what the Holocaust was or what Nazi Germany was all about. I knew probably from war movies that the Nazis were bad and they were the enemy, but I didn't know the atrocities that they had committed. And so I have a lot more understanding of what this is all about, and that's why, since I inherited this house and have owned this piece, I've shown it to probably 5 people, if that. I just don't think it's right to show it as something something that was a souvenir. But I feel a little bit different here on YouTube because y'all don't know me other than you know my name and you know I live in South Carolina, but you don't know me. but maybe the way I presented this to you will understand. You'll understand that this is not something that I take lightly. It's something that history needs to remember, but also something that needs to be kept put away in that box. I'm going to take a look at this video before I publish it to see if it turns out, if I think it's all right, because it's still, I'm still unsure as exactly how I feel about showing this. So, if you see this video, I've got a couple of more things coming in the mail. I've got that trade with Mike GPO coming from Manitoba, and I've got another coin coming in that's different, let's say. Might even be humorous. So if you would, please click on that subscribe button that's in the lower right hand corner of your screen. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you give me a thumbs down, tell me what you didn't like about the video. And please comment. I like to read all your comments and I try to answer each one of them. And until then, I'm 1042.